You know when you're waiting for a package for like 3 months, you ordered it in Christmas and now it's February and it still hasn't come, and then it finally arrives in the rainiest and windiest hour of the rainiest, windiest day of the entire year? Me too, I know exactly what that's like. But it's here now and no one can take it away from me. So in this video, we're gonna break this thing open. Shout out to Amazon and boo B&H Photo. Much more high-powered camera. When you're shooting with this, overlapping frequency ranges. Dude, I love B&H Photo, okay? Like, I've gotten a lot of my gear from bnhphotovideo.com, and they're usually very good to me. So last December, I made a purchase on B&H, and I was told that it would be there by January, middle of January. It was on back order, right? And I get that, like sometimes manufacturers, they take a while. So I waited patiently for January like 14th to come around, which is when B&H told me that it was going to be on back order until February 8th. A little pissed off, sure, but I decided to wait till February 8th because I'm a good boy. And then February 8th rolls around and I'm like, hey, B&H, what gives? Are you sending me this thing yet or what? I don't know who told you February 8th. That's 3 representatives of yours told me February 8th, so I didn't pull it out of my ass. Oh, well, it's gonna be until February 28th. No, absolutely not. The thing I was waiting for was this, the Zhiyun Tech Weebill Lab. We've been shooting videos on this channel for like 6 weeks now, and I've gotten pretty good at it with the monopod, the tripod, the gorilla pod, all great stabilization sources. But if you want that smooth, buttery footage, you need a gimbal. I ordered this gimbal when I ordered this camera, but it took until now to come here. So anyways, I told B&H, I was like, I can see the Weebill Lab on your website. I just don't have the creator package, all the accessories. So why don't you send me the lab now and I'll wait for the accessories. Oh, well, they come boxed together, so we couldn't possibly. Look, I'm looking at a Weebill Lab and then the accessory package separate. Why don't you send me one and then the other? While she was stuttering, I went on Amazon, saw it available to ship out right now. You know what, lady? Cancel my order. I don't need the Weebill Lab from you guys. Too much hassle for you? No problem. I'm sure Jeff Bezos has got my back, and sure enough, he did. So let's unbox this thing, huh? Just taking off this protective tape here. Okay, and booyah. Looking good, Zhiyun Tech. So here we've got a trans-mount multifunctional camera belt. Not sure what I'm gonna need that for, but we'll find out. We've got the phone holder, which goes on the bottom of the gimbal so that I can use my phone as a monitor. Got a nice little screen wipey, those are always handy. Trans-mount quick setup so that I can snap the tripod off the bottom of it and snap it to the top, which you'll see in a second. We've got the trans-mount servo zoom and focus controller. This is a follow focus, so I can actually manually focus and zoom a lens while it's on the gimbal. Then we've got this little mini monopod that I can attach to this thing, pretty badass. And the Weebill itself. Huh. Oh, how I have waited for you. Let's peel that off here. Get these things out. Woohoo! Yes, 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 Lord. Booyah. Mwah! Zhiyun Tech products come in this neat little carrying case always, which I've been waiting to feel. Pop open the locks on it. Ooh-wee! I like what I'm seeing here. So we got the 18650 batteries, just like the ones in my vape. We've got a nice little battery charger. We've got the tripod handle, which goes on the bottom of the Weebill Lab and can act as a tripod. We've got the quick mount plate with this little screw that goes in the bottom of the camera. Just screw that in so I don't lose it like I do. We've got this little bracket doohickey, not sure what this does. Ooh, we've got a cool little zip pouch to keep charger cables and extra screws. They knew it was for me. Then we've got some delicious silica gel packets. I'm gonna eat these later. And the mother-fathering Weebill Lab, bros. Oh yes. All right, so I'm going to set this thing up, and then the next shot that you see should be some crispy, buttery footage shot with the Weebill Lab. See you there. So far, this thing is a blast. Now, there's tons of videos out there already that show you all types of crispy, buttery footage with gimbals like this, and I'm not gonna just add to the pile. I just wanna get down this thing from the perspective of someone who's never used a gimbal before, has no idea what's going on with these things. So if that's you, then I've got your back. I'm gonna help you through all of the things I just struggled through getting this thing set up. So first of all, let's talk about setting up this gimbal. Now, I don't have a B camera that I can use. We're not as fancy as some other channels, so I have to shoot with this, but I'm gonna pretty much show you how it would work. So this is the quick release plate, and basically all you do is place the camera on top here. You use this little screw here to find the hole in the bottom of the camera, and then you just screw it down tight so that the camera is flush on top of this thing. Then this quick release plate slides into this thing. First I have to loosen this nut. Hold on one second. Yeah, it slides into it until it hits this little notch, and then I just squeeze this thing and it slides all the way through. Now it's locked, so it won't actually slide all the way back. Cool, so then I gotta tighten this little nut right here, and that makes it so that this doesn't move at all. So the next thing you gotta do is release the locks one by one to start balancing it. So let me show you what that looks like. There's a little lock right here, so I'm just gonna switch that, and boom, swivels out, and then I'm gonna turn that lock back on, and it locks into position out. Then I release this lock right here, and boom, swivels into position. So now you imagine the camera's sitting flush right here, and this lock is disengaged, so this thing swings. Now, you see these little ruler measurements right here. That's telling me where the camera is set, so the weight of the camera should be such that this just floats. It doesn't go this way or that way, it just stays perfectly even and balanced. So if I disengage this nut one more time, I can move it back and forth, get the right balance, and then tighten it back down. Then you have to balance it for the camera going straight up, and there's a nut right here that allows the base plate to slide this way or that way, so that is balanced there too. So once that part is balanced, then we're going to disengage this lock, the second lock. Boom, right? I almost just knocked myself out there. So with a camera on here, it should sit so that it's perfectly balanced. If it's a little bit this way or a little bit that way, that's not balanced. And there's another nut like right here. And if we turn that nut, boom, it's loose and this thing slides back and forth. So if the camera's a little bit to the left and it's going like this, then I just slide this plate a little bit to the right and it goes like this. Once it's balanced so that it's not moving left or right, or left or right this way, and we just tighten that nut back down and it's balanced for these two axes. And the last balance you have to do is this little lock right here. If I engage that, then the pan is now free, so it goes all the way around. So I can change this nut right here to have this arm go in or out. See this nut right here? And this is the arm that goes in and out of this little circular plate right here. So if it's properly balanced with all of these locks disengaged, it should stay perfectly upright. And I can pick it up and move it and it's not going to fall off balance. Then when I turn it on, the motors kick in and they make sure that it stays where it was set when I turned it on. That's how we balance the gimbal. It took me a while to figure that out, so I figured I'd save you some time. It's just about disengaging lock by lock and changing the nuts so that it balances correctly. So we got the Weebill Lab Creator Package, which means it not only comes with everything that you see here, but it comes with a few other cool things like this monopod here. So this tripod bottom can be detached and it can be placed here, so that I can have it shooting like this, but then I can switch it to an underslung mode and just roll it low to the ground, which you probably saw in one of those shots that I just showed you. So let's reattach this. So this monopod can also go on the bottom or on that top side of the gimbal. And if I unlock this, I can extend it, it's telescopic. So it goes about this long and I can hold the gimbal a lot higher. I already have a monopod, a video monopod that we already use, and I'm getting a attachment so that I can just attach that thing to the bottom of this and get like 15 feet. If I could go back, I would have changed my purchase so that I didn't actually get the monopod, which I don't really need. I already have a monopod and it's better. The creator package also came with this cool phone holder, but it doesn't actually hold my Galaxy Note 8. The Note 8 is too long to fit in this thing, so I had to break out my busted old Note 5 to serve as a monitor for the gimbal. But with this cable that the gimbal comes with, I can attach the gimbal to my camera so that the camera is feeding its image via HDMI out to the gimbal, and the gimbal transmits that image to the phone. It's kind of laggy. It doesn't work exactly how I'd want it to. I'd rather just have a monitor, and I'll probably fit a small HD monitor in this so that I can monitor with more precise accuracy. But it's a cool feature to have nonetheless. Now, I haven't had a chance to use the follow focus yet, but I've heard great things about it. Basically, what it does is it transforms this knob here on the gimbal into a follow zoom or follow focus. So I can use this to zoom or focus on the camera even while it's flying on the gimbal. Now here on the front of the gimbal, we have this little joystick. I can use this to pan left or right or tilt up and down. This little click wheel here serves pretty much like the camera's click wheel, so I can scan through the menu options of the camera using this little wheel. Then we've got the record button, and we've got this POV button, which activates POV mode. Now in POV mode, the roll axis here is not as locked, so when I move left, it's going to tilt slightly, kind of following the way that your eyes would look. Pretty cool feature. I don't know why I'm gonna use it, but I'm sure I'll find a reason. Then on the side of the gimbal, we have this little switch here to go from pan following to locked mode. So pan follow, locked mode. Then we have this button here that says go, which is for something called phone go mode, which kind of cranks up the tightness of these motors and makes sure everything's a lot tighter with the gimbal. And then we have the power button. Now back here, we have this like lock that you can engage. When I click this and hold it down, it's going to keep the pan axis within a certain range. So if I move the gimbal like this, the camera isn't gonna stay facing this way, it'll follow me, which is cool. You can kind of be in POV mode, and then you need to make like a quick move, and then you let it go, and you can kind of have it stay there while you change your position. You kind of get into this flow of using the gimbal, almost like an instrument. And when I double click this button on the back end, the gimbal returns to the position it was in when I turned it on, which is a super helpful feature. And then lastly, if we long press the POV mode here, it turns into vortex mode. Now, vortex mode is like if you've ever seen Inception, the camera does barrel rolls, so the image is spinning around. Very cool, and I want to use it, but as soon as I turned it on into vortex mode, it had a lot of trouble. It wouldn't do the full rotation. I couldn't figure out how to get it to do it, so I'm gonna have to read up on Weebill's tutorials. Speaking of which, there's a phone app that comes with the gimbal so that I can use this image transmission feature and use the phone as a monitor. That phone app comes with tons of tutorials for this thing, which is super helpful. Like, I didn't get an app with a bunch of tutorials in it with my camera, which was way more expensive. And as a business owner and a product creator, like, it's cool to see them going the extra mile to include so much easy to use documentation on this thing. I can spend a night going through all those tutorials, and I can be a master at this thing by the end of it. I even used those tutorials to figure out how to set up the image transmission, and it was super helpful. So it's great to have video courses on how to use this thing free with the gimbal. Now, when it comes to drawbacks, that vortex mode is definitely a major drawback. I'd say there's a bit of a learning curve on this thing, especially when it comes to balancing it. That was not intuitive. And I bought the creator package so that I'd have access to this kind of quick release feature. So if I pull that sleeve and boom, quick release. But it doesn't have two quick release plates with it. So there's this little puck that goes in between the monopod and the gimbal, and that's the quick release feature. But I only get one puck, and there's two ports that I can put a puck on this thing. I wanna be able to quick release it from the bottom and then snap it to the top, but I have to buy a whole other puck for that. And I figure, like, I'm paying for the extra creator package. Give me the two pucks, you know I need them anyways. Charge me more, I don't care, just like put it in one box. Kind of nitpicky, but it did piss me off. I did have to order another puck. Besides that, for my first gimbal, I dig it. I might be a total idiot, like I've never tried any other gimbal, but definitely something that I'm going to keep. So this is the Weebill Lab. It is a badass gimbal. It definitely changes the game with its underslung feature. It's lightweight. It doesn't take a whole lot of weight on top of it, but that's fine. I don't need that much weight on it. And it's definitely something I'm gonna be using in pretty much every video from now on. So if you're in the market for a gimbal, this thing is pretty cheap as far as gimbals go. And it's badass. I enjoyed using it today, and I'm gonna use it a whole lot over the next couple of months. So that's it, just a review from a total idiot who knows nothing about these things. Because I feel like, you know, if you're out there searching for a review on the internet for it, that might be you too. You might be an idiot like me. And it can be helpful to know how to break into it and start using it immediately. With that said, I've been Circa for Full Stack Creative. This has been another gear review. If you liked the video, like the video, and please subscribe. We have other gear reviews from very advanced, like from Iggy back here, to the idiot reviews that I like to do. We also have tutorials on marketing and videography and music production and all types of good stuff. And we have just some cool, you know, videos for creative people. I think you'll dig it. So just subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll get notified whenever we drop a new one. I've been Circa for Full Stack Creative. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and check out some of these other videos we got going on here. There's some cool stuff.